Can no rest find me, no private place secure me, but still my miseries like bloodhounds haunt me? Unfortunate young man, which way now guides thee from death? The countries laid around for thee. Women pleased. Our narrative now recalls us for a moment to the period when young Hazelwood received his wound. That accident had no sooner happened than the consequences to Miss Mannering and to himself rushed upon Brown's mind. From the manner in which the muzzle of the piece was pointed when it went off, he had no great fear that the consequences would be fatal. But an arrest in a strange country, and while he was unprovided with any means of establishing his rank and character, was at least to be avoided. He therefore resolved to escape for the present to the neighboring coast of England, and to remain concealed there, if possible, until he should receive letters from his regimental friends, and remittances from his agent, and then to resume his own character, and offer to young Hazelwood and his friends any explanation or satisfaction they might desire. With this purpose he walked stoutly forward, after leaving the spot where the accident had happened, and reached without adventure the village which we have called Portonferry, but which the reader will in vain seek for under that name in the county map. A large open boat was just about to leave the quay, bound for the little seaport of Allonby, in Cumberland. In this vessel Brown embarked, and resolved to make that place his temporary abode, until he should receive letters and money from England. In the course of their short voyage he entered into some conversation with the steersman, who was also owner of the boat, a jolly old man, who had occasionally been engaged in the smuggling trade, like most fishers on the coast. After talking about objects of less interest, Brown endeavored to turn the discourse toward the Mannering family. The sailor had heard of the attack upon the house at Woodbourne, but disapproved of the smugglers' proceedings. "Hands off is fair play, zounds, they'll bring the whole country down upon them, nah. When I was in that way I played at giff-gaff, give and take, with the officers, here a cargo tame, vera wheel, that was their luck, there another carried clean through, that was mine, nah. Hawks shootin' a pike out Hawks e'en." "And this Colonel Mannering," said Brown. "Troth, he's nae wise man neither, to interfere, no that I blame him for saving the gaugers' lives, that was very right, but it wasna like a gentleman to be fighting about the poor folks' pox o' tea and brandy kegs. However, he's a grand man and an officer man, and they do what they like why the like o' us." "And his daughter," said Brown, with a throbbing heart, "is going to be married into a great family too, as I have heard?" "What, into the Hazelwoods?" said the pilot. Nah, that's but idle clashes every Sabbath day, as regularly as it came round. Did the young man write hame why the daughter of the late Ellangowan, and my daughter Peggy's in the service up at Woodbourne, and she says she's sure young Hazelwood thinks nae mair of Miss Mannering than you do." Bitterly censuring his own precipitate adoption of a contrary belief, Brown yet heard with delight that the suspicions of Julia's fidelity, upon which he had so rashly acted, were probably void of foundation. How must he in the meantime be suffering in her opinion? Or what could she suppose of conduct, which must have made him appear to her regardless alike of her peace of mind, and of the interests of their affection? The old man's connection with the family at Woodbourne seemed to offer a safe mode of communication, of which he determined to avail himself. "Your daughter is a maid-servant at Woodbourne. I knew Miss Mannering in India, and though I am at present in an inferior rank of life, I have great reason to hope she would interest herself in my favor. I had a quarrel unfortunately with her father, who was my commanding officer, and I am sure the young lady would endeavor to reconcile him to me. Perhaps your daughter could deliver a letter to her upon she subject, without making mischief between her father and her?" The old man, a friend to smuggling of every kind, readily answered for the letters being faithfully and secretly delivered, and, accordingly, as soon as they arrived at Allonby, Brown wrote to Miss Mannering, stating the utmost contrition for what had happened through his rashness, and conjuring her to let him have an opportunity of pleading his own cause, and obtaining forgiveness for his indiscretion. He did not judge it safe to go into any detail concerning the circumstances by which he had been misled, and upon the whole endeavored to express himself with such ambiguity, that if the letter should fall into wrong hands, it would be difficult either to understand its real purport, or to trace the writer. This letter the old man undertook faithfully to deliver to his daughter at Woodbourne, and, as his trade would speedily again bring him or his boat to Allonby, he promised further to take charge of any answer with which the young lady might entrust him.